So I'm not going to speak long. I think you get an hour. I get an hour? No. Okay. But instead of me talking to you about business, I really want to talk to you about you as business owners. You know, I meet a lot of people daily that have all the knowledge and experience necessary to start a business, but a lot of them don't know they can. Okay? And so the first book I wrote was called Yes, I Can Develop My Idea and Start a Business, How to Write a Business Plan, where I realized the second book was more important. It's really about being a business owner. And I call this book To Boldly Go. How many are Star Trek fans? Y'all get it? All right. You know, because what happens is that you really got to boldly go to step out there. And you got to do things. There's the reason why I like Star Trek was they were on this voyage. They never knew where they were going. It was multicultural, and everybody had their favorite. Captain Kirk, I like Spock. You know, he was all logical and stuff. But it was really about living outside the box. A lot of times people say, do you live inside the box? I say, what box? Because you as entrepreneurs and business owners, there's no box. I put a post out a couple weeks ago that said, entrepreneurship is a lifestyle. Okay, and I got a lot of likes on it. So the next one I put out that said entrepreneurship is also a religion. Okay, so since it is, I want you to turn to your neighbor and say, mindset is everything. Okay, it is everything, because it's so important that you, in order to do this, you know, I use the term live long and prosper, you got to get out there and do things that a lot of times people don't know. You try to explain it to people, they don't get it. Why are you doing this? You know, but you're doing it so you can generate a life better for you, better for your families, better for your communities. But a lot of times people don't get it. You're kind of in the world by yourself. Your spouses don't get it. Your friends don't get it. They think they get it, but they don't get it. Okay, you know. But the one thing that's most important that you've decided to do is to step out and do this. And in order to do it successfully, you got to give everything you have. You can't. There's no halfway about this. When you do it halfway, you get halfway results. So one of the things when I do a lot of coaching, one of the things when business owners come to me, I need to ask them, who are they? And they said, what do you mean? I said, who are you right now? Not who you were last year. A lot of times people wrote a business plan a year ago and they think it's still good today. It's not. Because you've changed. Different things have happened. The economy's changed. The world's changed. So you have to constantly reassess who you are. You know, and you got to do that hard look at yourself to determine what your strengths and weaknesses are. But I shouldn't say weaknesses, things that are not that strong, let's put it that way. But you got to figure those out. You know, like even for me, one of the things I have a problem with is letting stuff go. You know, I had my first conversation with somebody that's going to be like a personal assistant, because I just can't do everything and still live and sleep. Okay, you know, I mean, you just can't get it done. So you got to realize that you got to figure out who you are. So I want to encourage you to constantly reassess yourself and take, you know, there's all kind of assessment tips you really need to know, and you really need to dig deep, and you really need to confess those things that you really don't want to talk about. Okay, because one of the things I've learned is that from the day we were born, we were never really in control of our mind. We were told, what was the first word? No, don't touch this, don't do that. We were told how to live, how to do everything. So what becomes important to us is fitting in. In order to fit in, you had to fit in. So you had to kind of mold yourself the way society. So one of the things I try to encourage entrepreneurs to do is to start retraining their mind, you know. But it's just like a muscle. If you don't work it, you don't train it, it doesn't grow. And the only way you can train it is by doing what you've been doing for the past 6 weeks. I'm sure you learned things over the past 6 weeks that you thought you knew, but you found out you really did not know. Okay? Can I get an amen on that? All right. All right. So the whole thing comes down to having two types of mindset: a fixed mindset where you know everything already, or a growth mindset where you realize that you don't know everything, but you're willing to grow. So you got to figure out one of those. As your business owners, you got to get up every day and figure out where you're going that day, but it's very important for you to set a destination. Where do I really want to be? Not tomorrow, not next week, long term. Where do I want to be? Did I start this company to sell it? Did I start this company and hand it off to my children who probably don't want it? We're going to sell it and take the money and do something else with it. But you got to figure out what it is, because without knowing your destination, it's difficult to develop a plan, a strategic plan, not for your business, but for your life, because your business is your life. So you got to learn how to, develop a plan, a strategic plan for your life. So a lot of times I encourage people, I do 90-day plans where I learned this from a book. Have you ever read the book 4 Hour Work Week? Anybody? Okay. He does a dreamlining. In 3 months, I dream of having, I dream of being, and I dream of doing. And I do this every 90 days, okay? And because it makes you figure out what you're going to need help in to get those things accomplished, and what is the very first task you need to do. One of the next things that's important, you call this chapter of the book, Sulu Set Phasers to Stun, because you're going to have to stun some people, because, success is not created overnight. You're going to start managing your time. And I encourage, a lot of times I tell people to do what we call a time management plan, where you track what happens to you over the past few weeks. And you're going to find out there's people in your life that are time vampires. People that suck your time, talk to them every hour, every week about the same problem they had last week and the problem they had before, but because they're a friend or a relative, you go ahead and take that hour or 2 or 3 when you could have been using that hour to plan your life. But what do we have trouble saying? No. And no is a complete sentence. I found out when I started using it, it'd be very funny, because I'd say, someone would say, hey, Mark, can you do such and such? And I go, no. Then there's this pause, because they're waiting for me to explain why. I know, I just keep quiet. Okay? Because you don't have to explain why. Because what you'll end up doing, you'll end up saying something like, I can't do it right now because of, and they hear the word right now, well, you can do it later. But you really don't want to do it at all. So if you got to get in front of a mirror every morning and practice, no, practice, because you're going to have to start using it. How many are already using it? You only went like this. Y'all need to go like this. If you use it, use it. But the whole thing is really setting a destination so you can get to where you want to go and live the life that you want to live, not only for you, but for your family. One of the things when I get out and I speak, they use this term entrepreneurship. I looked it up in the dictionary. It's this French word talking about people that want to get out and take risk. But it's really Small Business Revisited. We've been here before. When you look at history, we've had businesses, we've done things, but they came up with this new word, entrepreneurship, and made people think you had to have an MBA to get into business. My grandmother did hair when I was growing up. She always had a business. I didn't know it was a business. I didn't know there wasn't a business. She was doing hair. My grandfather used to fix on cars. You get your hair done and the car fixed. Then he put a little store in the front yard so you can get your groceries. But this is all they knew. So this is Entrepreneurship Revisited, because it's always been here. It's not new to us. You just got to know how to do it right. So one of the things that you have to do, though, is set a personal mission statement. It doesn't have to be anything you broadcast. Maybe it's something just for you. But you got to set it. Because if you don't have a personal mission statement, you'll still be at the desires of where people are pushing you to go. If you set a personal mission statement, when people ask you to do something that's not in your destination or your mission statement, it's easier for you to say, no, that's not going to work for me. So you got to practice that. But the real thing that I really push is that plan. If you do not develop a plan, it doesn't have to be that 30-page. People used to turn in business plans. They thought they were good by how much they weighed. Okay, but it's not that important anymore. You can do one-page business plans, but you got to have a plan, okay? Because you got to do it for your future. And one of the final things I want to say is that one of the mistakes that I made was not always taking care of my vessel, okay? Like Scotty on Star Trek, I'm giving her all she got, dilithium crystals and all that stuff. If you do not take care of yourself, for me, for example, I went vegan a few years ago, then came back because I blame it on my nephew. He gave me a piece of chicken one day, and I was like, I just came back, okay? But I still was trying to eat good and exercise, but as a man, we have trouble sometimes going to the doctor, In 2016, I was having a little trouble breathing one day, and I was like, ah. And it takes a woman to tell me, yeah, you need to go to the hospital. I'm all right. So I went, to the ER. I figured they were going to give me some, antihistamine or something. And next thing I know, we're going to keep you for a while till we figure out what's going on. Very frightening experience, but it taught me that just because people were saying, oh, Mark, you look so healthy. That's not how I look. So I just implore you to figure out ways to do things that take you away from your business. Find a hobby, take a walk, run, do something to stay healthy, because if you're not going to be doing yourself or your business any good. So one of the things, the last thing I want to say is that from the Urban League, we're here to help you. Coaching, a lot of times we have a coaching program. I have all your information, so I will be sending you emails about how to schedule coaching with us. But what we can do is sit down with you and help you review things or just talk. A lot of times I know coach, counselor, I go both ways, because a lot of times you can talk to us about things you can't talk. Like right now I'm doing a project at Coke with some of the diverse suppliers. These are multi-million-dollar companies, and they're enjoying talking to us because we're listening and we can give objective opinions. We're not vested in the outcome. So I'm going to send you an email so that you can schedule some time with me and some of the other people at the league. And, if I need to connect you with maybe you're talking about something I don't know, but I have resources. If you're in the middle of a bid, you have questions, don't hesitate to use us, because that's what we're here for. That's what we love, this relationship we developed. Our whole goal is economic empowerment, and that's what we're here to do. So I just implore you to use us. Don't hesitate. Somebody was telling me earlier I never answer my phone. Okay, that's because I'm always out speaking or something. But there's on my voicemail, if I give you my card, there is a way for you to go to my, there's an online scheduling system. You can suggest a time for us to talk. But don't hesitate. And don't wait till the 9th hour either. If I can help you, it's better. The more advance notice I get, so I can make the right connection. But I want to just thank you for your dedication for the last 6 weeks, and then the dedication you put in long prior to that and I like to use the term, I do a radio show on Monday nights, and I always talk about walking in purpose, because that's what you're doing, And it's hard because sometimes people don't understand, but they're not supposed to. The funniest thing is a lot of times people will say, well, if I were you, I wouldn't. I say, stop. You're not me, okay? Appreciate your opinion, but I'm walking a path that you may not understand. So that's why, hopefully, over the past 6 weeks, you've all developed your own relationships, so you can call on each other because you know what you've been through. Maybe you can develop a little secret handshake or something. When y'all see our gang signals, I don't know, something. But I do want to congratulate you, and I'm very proud. Like I said, I came last week, and I was just really impressed with the group. So I look forward to talking to each of you individually when you see the need to do it. So thank you very much.